to my right, wearing white and blue trunks, with a professional record of 43 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw, 29 wins by knockout. En la esquina azul, con 43 victorias, 1 perdida, 1 empate, 29 de sus victorias por knockout. He weighed in at 126, pesando 126 libras, ranked number 5 by the WBC, from Santa Fe, Argentina, Carlos Rios. In the red corner, wearing black trunks, he comes into the ring with a professional record, 7 losses, 2 draws, 39 wins by knockout. En la esquina roja, con 51 victorias, 7 perdidas, 2 empates, 39 de sus victorias por knockout. He weighed 125 pounds, pesando 125 libras, ranked number 1 featherweight contender in the world by the WBC, from Ciudad Juárez, Mexico, Cesar La Cobra Soto.
Here we are in a bull ring, Jim. And instead of a bull and a bullfighter, we have 2 bulls. What a concept.
Both men looking for another shot at a featherweight world championship. Veterans of the sport. Between them, 115 fights coming in. And immediately they engage in close contact, and that should be the way it is most of the way.
Now this is going to get ugly.
Rios has come out the aggressor, and Soto is trying to find his opportunities to throw shots. He's landed cleanly a couple of times, countering inside.
There is a little bit of blood, I think, on the left cheekbone or the right cheekbone of Soto. Not dangerous.
This is going to be a tough job for referee Juan Jose Ramirez.
Yes, it is, because these guys are looking to bang and bang only.
Soto knocked off balance by a Rios shot. You can see that Rios isn't big on defending himself. He figures the best defense is a good offense, and he throws a lot of punches.
And a lot of big punches.
Good combination by Soto, and the uppercut snapped Rios' head back. Body shot landed flush against the ribcage.
They throw and take big punches.
Oh my goodness.
Well, we call this a bullfight, Jim, but Roy and I went to cockfights today. Roy introduced me to the world of cockfighting, and this is more like that. These guys had feathers on them. The feathers would be flying
Everywhere.
Little visit to the cockfight south of the border, huh?
Yeah, and I loved it.
Both Roy and Larry campaigning for spots on the NITA board of directors. No such luck. We have the excellent Ray Torres interpreting in both corners tonight, and these should be some interesting conversations.
Yeah, I would definitely like to hear what is said in these corners.
Well, you only got hit 80 times in that round. Can you go out and get hit 100 times in the next round?
I think Rios got hurt there by that overhand right.
Little wobbly. Rios has landed more punches in the round by virtue of his nonstop activity, but I think Soto landed the harder shots.
very well. We got to throw in the middle. You got to throw that jab and come in the middle. No, don't be winging them from the outside. Everything's got to be straight from the middle. He hit you a lot of times and you didn't do nothing.
Soto appears to be the calmer fighter, more in control of what he's doing. Rios, the more active fighter at the moment.
Yeah, Rios just throws big punches and tries to see what happens.
Well, he's fighting like he knows that he's going to have a very hard time getting a decision here in Tijuana.
Soto fighting in the border town of Tijuana tonight and getting huge crowd support. He's from the Texas border town of Juarez. Together they landed 55 total punches by CompuBox numbers in the first round. Only 10 of them were jabs.
I'll be surprised if somebody doesn't get cut by a headbutt the way these guys are going at each other.
I thought maybe Rios had at the end of the first round, and he was squinting and seemed to have felt as though he'd been butted.
Their styles are right there head to head. They can't help but to collide sooner or later.
Rios is trying to be a little bit more tactical at the moment.
Didn't we figure out yesterday, Larry, that Cesar Soto had his first professional fight when he was 13 years old?
Right, exactly right. A year after he walked into a gym.
So he's been fighting exactly half of his life as a professional fighter, and he's 26.
They threw him into the pool and say, swim.
Hard right hand by Cesar Soto as he backs Rios up into the ropes. Rios looking to land something coming off the ropes, and now he moves away.
I think Soto's is hurting Rios. Every time he hits him, I think he's hurting him.
Sotos puts a lot into his punches.
Tell you what, at 13 years old, I definitely wouldn't have been thinking about being a professional fighter. I was a pretty good amateur, and I probably would have been a pretty good professional, but that had never crossed my mind.
Well, both of these fighters come from the hard-bitten background that so frequently produces boxers in their cultures and other cultures. When I asked Carlos Rios yesterday, the family he grew up in, I said, pobre, medio rico? He said, pobre, double poor.
We asked him how much he made in that first fight at the age of 13. He said enough to buy a pack of chewing gum.
Well, it wasn't all in vain, because look where he is now.
Getting a chance to showcase himself on HBO's Boxing After Dark because of the appealing action style that both fighters bring to this fight. Soto landing a long right hand across the top. Rios smiles as if to say, you ain't got nothing. Let's take a look at the top fighters in the 126-pound weight class, the featherweight division. Larry Merchant, who do we have?
Well, all roads lead to Prince Hamed, the big moneymaker in this division. The two top Americans, Fred Norwood, undefeated, holds a belt, and Derek Gainer, Roy's buddy.
A crowded weight class, as is the 122-pound class, as is the 130-pound class, and virtually everybody looking to get a taste of that Prince Naseem money.
Don't grab him. Exchange punches with him.
Cesar Soto accelerated the activity level in the second round and now has thrown more and landed more punches than Rios through 2 rounds. Carlos Rios told us in the fighter meetings that he felt his first task was to take away Cesar Soto's left hook. So he's keeping that right hand pinned to his cheek even while he looks for opportunities to be aggressive. See Rios holding the right hand right next to his cheek there.
Doing that though, Jim, he's also opening himself up for that left uppercut. And I think Soto's corner told him a couple of times to come up the middle. I just don't think he's been successful in doing it yet. These guys are big for featherweights.
Very strong for featherweights. Rios whacking away at both flanks of Soto's upper body, trying to take something out of Soto's arms and shoulders as he just pounds away at the available target. Good body combination by Cesar Soto inside.
Excellent body work by Soto.
Rios appears to be beating him to the punch, though, Roy. He's more willing to throw.
Hard left hook by Soto as Rios dropped that right hand momentarily, and Soto found the target.
When you throw, you can also catch.
But Larry, I think Rios' corner told him to trade punches. Don't hold him, trade punches with him. They think he's the bigger and the stronger puncher of the two, so they want him to trade punches with Soto, not to tie up. And he's going out and putting the punches out first, so I think he's getting in front of Soto a little bit.
And remember, Rios is the guy who weighed in at 126 and then put on 18 pounds before coming into the ring tonight.
That's 14% of his body weight.
Entered the body within the last 24 hours. Incredible. For Soto at the end of the third round. And still to come, main event between that man, Eric Morales, just turned 23, fighting in his hometown tonight before a rabid crowd in this Toreo de Tijuana, against Junior Jones, who through most of the 90s has been one of the best, if not the best, of the 122-pound fighters.
End of the round, Soto landed his most effective punch of the round.
That's the reason why Rios has been keeping the right glove pinned to his cheek. It's because he wants to try to nullify that left hook. In round 3, Rios released 74 punches, Soto only 59.
The fighter who beat both of these fighters here tonight, let's watch this, was Luisito Espinosa, who holds one of the belts and who is a boxer, counterpuncher type fighter. You could see why he could beat these fellas.
Harold, how'd you have it through the first 3?
Jim, I got it 29-28, 2 rounds to 1, Cesar Soto. I thought that Carlos Rios did do enough in round 3 to win a round, barely. But I want to tell you something, Jim. Watch Cesar Soto throw that left hook to the body. I'm telling you, 50% of them are going low, and the referee hasn't said a word. He's whacking Rios low so badly, it's just terrible. But in any case, Rios is just as guilty because he's grabbing and holding terribly also.
Well, and also Rios has his trunks very high, if you notice.
You're right, Larry. He does have those trunks high, but watch where that left hook goes.
Solid right hand counter by Cesar Soto, and Rios goes down.
You look for the left, you get the right. A lot of time left in this round.
Neither fighter a stranger to the canvas. Rios has gotten up to win before, but he's in big trouble here.
He won't get out of this either. And the problem he has is that he's such a big puncher that the best time to hit him is when he's trying to punch back.
Soto using his strength to drive Rios back into the ropes. Body attack from Soto. Rios looking to counter. Soto just misses with the big left hook.
One more shot and Soto will be out of there.
You mean Rios will be out of there?
Rios, yeah.
Well, Soto will be out of there too.
Yeah, but carried out in the arms of his beloved, or his loving admirers.
He's doing a good job of tying up, though, Rios is.
Yep, Rios showed some professionalism here.
Got to give him credit.
And Soto has shown professionalism because he hasn't exactly gone wild and tried to throw everything but the kitchen sink to get a finish. He understands that he's fighting against a guy who's accustomed to recovering from knockdowns.
That's right, and another thing is that he knows if he hit him one time and hurt him, he can catch him again. He just had to set it up again.
Well, Rios was kind of pawing with the right and dropped the left hand, and Soto just fired the right hand over it perfectly.
Good left hand by Rios.
Good left uppercut.
Right.
As if to say, I ain't dead yet.
Good job of surviving by Carlos Rios.
Let's give him water. He needs some water. He is dead. Your opponent is dead. You've got to get to him.
The patience that Soto has showed pays off right there. Wades through a flurry of fakes and punches to throw an overhand right that would make a big league strikeout pitcher proud.
Cesar Soto connected on 32 punches in round number 4 by CompuBox numbers, and 30 of those were power shots. So Carlos Rios has weathered a very tough round 4 as he comes back in to try to begin reversing the damage in round 5.
Comes from the part of the Argentine that produced the great middleweight Carlos Monzon. They know something about fighting in Argentina. They're usually very well schooled. The good ones are.
Like Soto, Rios took up boxing at 13 years old. He says that he can remember seeing Argentine greats Monzon and Victor Galindez on television when he was a young man.
Two outstanding fighters.
Harold Letterman did indeed score the last round 10-8 for Cesar Soto, not 10-9. So on the Letterman scorecard, Soto now with a 3-point working margin.
Rios seems to be fighting with a little bit more caution now. He's not just jumping in, throwing the big punches carefree anymore.
Does Rios have a cut above the left eye, or is that a scar from an old cut?
I think that's a scar from an old cut because I saw it in round 1, I think. But then again, it could have been open up by now.
Chopping right hand from Soto after a little left hook in there.
It looks like an abrasion.
Soto's starting to get more opportunities as Rios' pace slows.
And those body shots that Soto's been throwing are probably the reason that Rios is slowing.
There's There's an abrasion high on the forehead above Rios' left eye, but then there's also a line directly in the eyebrow. May or may not be a scar from a previous cut. I don't think it's a cut tonight because we've seen no blood.
I like to see fighters make adjustments in fights. What Rios is doing now is he knows that Soto beat him to the punch with that right hand last time, so now he's throwing it quicker so he doesn't get caught while he's throwing it. He's trying to not telegraph it. Soto needs to start blocking that left uppercut. He's getting caught with it a few times more than he had early in the fight.
Stick with us between fights tonight. We'll have a live interview with Oscar De La Hoya and Julio Cesar Chavez, looking ahead to their pay-per-view meeting in Vegas next week.
How do you feel? What's going on? Everything's okay? You got to keep throwing that straight right hand. It was successful. Do it again. The right hand. And make sure you go low and hit that to the liver. That's a good punch to the body and the liver.
Porque está muerto. Vamos, así que aprovechamos. Vamos, vamos, saca el banco.
All that happened in the last round is we all got 3 minutes older.
So glad you pointed it out, Larry. Well, now with the wisdom and maturity we've gained from that, we look into round 6 for further enlightenment. And the crowd will give Rios the business for that one.
It appears that Soto is winning the fight, certainly, but I get the impression still Rios is out hustling him for long periods of the round. Like that.
Yep, he is.
Called a slip by referee Juan Jose Ramirez. And they go back to work. Connecting hard inside.
They don't mind trading here.
I have to admit, Roy, I think this is better than a cockfight.
I think so too.
Still campaigning for a spot on the PETA board. So tonight already, you have Larry Merchant's inspired defensive prize fighting. It's better than cockfighting. Body shots.
That should have been a knockdown. That hook to the head should have been a knockdown. I think his knee touched.
He's had the glove on the canvas and the knee on the canvas.
I think it was.
In this round. But no knockdown yet for Soto here, although he did have a knockdown in round 4. Straight right hand lands for Soto. Rios shakes it off and keeps firing.
Limpio. Fuera.
grabs that right hand so bad, Jim. It's hard to believe. If you wonder if he'll ever hit Soto with that right hand.
He's determined to keep trying. Probably figuring, well, it works in Argentina. It is a very slippery ring surface. Producer David Harmon tells us from the truck that that round lasted 3.5 minutes.
And made us all 3.5 minutes younger because it was a good round.
Well, we're 30 seconds ahead. Ana Maria Carrasco from Manhattan Beach, California. If you were watching the debut edition of HBO's Boxing After Dark, February 3rd, 1996 in the Forum, unbelievable fight between Kennedy McKinney and Marco Antonio Barrera. You'll never forget Ana Maria Carrasco. She was there tonight. She's here again tonight. She's #1 in the HBO Boxing After Dark round card girl rankings.
Pound for pound.
Inch for inch. Smile for smile.
You know, I got to tell you, fellas, on my card, which may be totally off, this is a very close fight. I think Rios has out-hustled Soto in several rounds. Soto landed the bigger punches. I don't know that he's going to get the benefit of that doubt in Tijuana. I'm sure he won't.
I agree with you, Larry, except that I think if the last round, that punch would have been called a knockdown, he'd be a little bit more ahead, Soto would be. But I agree, he didn't make it a called knockdown, so I think the fight is closer than it appears, too.
Well, Harold Letterman didn't go to the cockfights today. He's been concentrating on boxing. How do you have it scored through 6, Harold?
Jim, 58-55, 4 rounds to 2, Cesar Soto. I mean, by points, you got to give Soto an extra point in round 4 for that knockdown. And if I have him 2 rounds ahead, that certainly has him with a 3-point lead. Cesar Soto's doing the harder punching. Carlos Rios is really guilty of an awful lot of holding. The referee's been watching him, but he hasn't taken a point yet. But you see right there, Carlos Rios has got him. He's yanking his arm. That's holding. Jim, there's a fine line between tying a guy up and holding a guy. Rios is holding.
And it's very slippery in that corner of the ring as Rios nearly went down toward the end of the last round, almost goes down again. Referee says that's okay, keep fighting. CompuBox numbers through round 6 showed Soto throwing 354 punches total and Rios 357. So they're both putting out a similar level of activity.
I have Soto ahead by 1 point because of the knockdown.
To go off what Harold said about the holding, I feel like in prize fighting, if it works for you, do it. The referee is not deducting a point from him. When he holds Soto, Soto does not punch. So that is enabling him to stay in this fight. So if I were him and the referee is not calling it a particular hold, or he's not saying he's going to take a point, I would continue to hold.
Larry, the 3 judges, incidentally, Alex Rochin, Ray Solis, Enrique Sotelo, all from Tijuana. Do we surmise from that that the Argentine fighter has an uphill battle trying to win a decision here?
Up mountain.
Go.
Steep.
Gonna need pylons to win this one.
No más lo baja el punto, ¿sí? Vamos, va.
Which may explain why he keeps throwing his right hand despite all the incoming.
I'll tell you what,
You're exactly right, Roy. He knows what the score is here.
that's right, and he's making the fight here.
And still to come, the main event between Junior Jones of New York, New York, and Eric Morales, hometown star of Tijuana. Jones trying once again to keep his career alive at the top level of the sport, he must win tonight to do so. After his upset loss via 4th-round knockout to Kennedy McKinney in New York last December in his last time in the ring.
Viendo ahí el comentarista una barbaridad. Agarralo. Pero vamos atrás 2 puntos.
We're losing the fight only by 2 points. We still have a chance. You got to do something else.
Podemos ganar.
We could win this.
Podemos ganar, Carlito.
We still can win this.
Poniendo todo.
He must be reading my scorecard. But I'm not from Tijuana.
Not yet.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, I said you could become an adopted citizen. You've made such a dent in the social scene, having gone today to a big public event with Roy Jones in tow.
Nobody there knew or cared who Roy Jones was.
And that's the best thing about it. You can go there and enjoy yourself and have a good time no matter who you are.
Want to see a fighter who commits to his punches. Cesar Soto is that man.
You want to see 2 fighters who commit to their punches.
Yep. A thing of beauty it's not.
But Roy, you said before the fight that courage and will would be the decisive factors. I don't see that either fighter has more in that department. So what is the decisive factor up to now in your view?
Well, right now, it is courage and will, because Soto has to have a lot of courage to be here fighting. Not Soto. Rios has to have a lot of courage to first of all be here fighting in these conditions. You know he's fighting an uphill battle. He's been knocked down already. He fell behind early, and he's still showing the most courage. He's still making the fight, and he's still being the aggressor. So he's definitely showing the courage. Now, he may not get the decision, but he seems to be the stronger in that department. And if it were on skills, I think Soto actually does have the better skill.
Yeah, Soto has the more measured style. He's a more accurate puncher.
What you're saying is that if we were in Santa Fe, Argentina, which is Rios' hometown,
the crowd would be deeply into this fight, because he started out behind, and he'd be on his way to coming back, hopefully pulling off a victory, snatching victory out of the jaws of defeat.
The Santa Fe Cockfighting Association readying an invitation for you 2 guys right now. Charter flights available.
I tell you what, I'll be there. You meet beautiful people at places like that, Jim.
Roy Jones.
Yeah, these are people sometimes that can't afford race horses, can't afford race cars. They can't afford to buy things that are so expensive to show their competitiveness. Every man has a level of competitiveness in him somewhere.
You could afford all those things, but you've still chosen to own fighting cocks instead.
Reason being is because they kept me out of trouble, they kept me out of drugs, they kept me out of gangs, they kept me out of everything when I was coming up as a kid. So why should I go away from them now?
We're all grateful for that, Roy. That's a good one.
The world may not know Roy Jones Jr. had it not been for my cocks. And I think Rios won another round.
I think Rios won another round too. Fascinating fight.
Ganamos todo el mundo, ganamos. Lo ganamos bien.
All right, we won this round.
Río, si vos vas para adelante, ganamos.
If you keep going forward, we will win.
Podemos sacarlo.
We got to win this fight, and we're about to win this.
Quedan 3 rounds.
Mucho más cansado que tú. Tú estás cansado, él está el doble.
If you're tired, he is double tired.
Él está el doble de cansado.
He's twice as tired as you are. Don't get overexcited.
Primero, porque si no, él te abraza.
And don't get overexcited, and because he's going to hold you. You got to throw that right hand. And then, when you go low, hit him with the left hook.
Un voladito izquierdo y al hígado.
Levantando las manos, haciendo cintura y tirando.
they're coming back for more, and so are we.
Rios stunned by a Soto left hook as round 9 begins. Bout is scheduled for 10. Soto with a right hand. grazed the cheek of Rios. Cesar Soto seems to have decided that round 9 would be an excellent frame in which to attempt to knock his man out.
No pega atrás. Combate, Carlos.
I think Soto's realizes that hustle has gotten Rios back in this fight, so now he's trying to come out and out-hustle Rios a little bit.
No.
Right there.
Well, yeah, go ahead.
Right there, you see every time Rios leads with punches and holds, he throws punches, he lands punches, and he does not get hit in the process.
But when he waits and gives Soto a chance to lead, he takes punishment.
He catches it.
Because he has no head movement. He doesn't block punches with his gloves. He's just there.
He doesn't want to either.
And no longer is he keeping that right glove pinned to his cheek as he was in the first 5 or 6 rounds, so there should be more opportunities now for Soto to land his favorite punch, the left hook.
And when he attacks Soto first, he doesn't give Soto a chance to set that punch up. Oh, good uppercut.
Oh, good uppercut. Yep. Right hand straight up through the middle by Soto, and Roy pointed out to you earlier that Soto's corner had asked him to go up the middle a few times. He hasn't done it all that much.
This is why I think Rios is winning the fight now, because see how he does that? He throws 2 or 3 punches to Soto's 1. Unless Soto just knocks him down with the punch, then he's going to be ahead.
Rios holding Soto to a standstill again, as he's done frequently throughout the fight. Soto, after a flurry of activity to begin the round, has slowed down considerably in the last minute.
We've talked about all the officials being from Tijuana in this fight, Jim. In the next fight, the championship fight, there are no judges from either Mexico or the United States.
Real calm, real nicely, real smooth. That's what you got to do. Real calm. And then get close to him. We're going to make history. Put your head close to him and exchange punches. Don't get overexcited. You got to be nice and calm. Let's go.
Last of a scheduled 10 rounds. Harold Letterman, how do you have it going into this final fray?
Jim, 87-83, 6 rounds to 3, Cesar Soto. I mean, I thought Cesar Soto clearly won that 9th round, and I thought that definitely gave him at least a 4-point lead. But I'll tell you something, Jim, to comment on what Larry said, the judges in Mexico, in general, do score a lot of even rounds. What happens is that at the end of the fight, you'll get it close on points with each guy having a high point total. In other words, 97, 96, 98, 96, stuff like that. Because if each guy's getting 10 points in a lot of rounds, that's what happens. High numbers, close scores.
Basketball fans would like it.
I think Soto kind of finished the fight off in that last round too.
He landed 18 punches by CompuBox numbers to only 4 for Rios.
Yeah, Rios was coming back, but I think that last round kind of sealed the deal for Soto.
Round 10 has begun more slowly than some of its predecessors.
You know, aside from the punishment that both fighters, especially Rios, has taken, Well, I find myself wondering if Rios put on 18 pounds in the last 30 hours, how hard must it have been for him to get down to weight? And that may explain why he also explain why he weakens as the fight goes on.
Yeah, he had to weaken because if he put on that much weight, that means he really had a hard time making his weight. You don't put on that kind of weight unless you take that kind of weight off you first. I used to come in the ring fighting middleweight at 174 pounds, but it's because I originally came from 180 to make middleweight. So he had to come from higher than 144 pounds to make 126, and that had to be difficult for him to accomplish and to fight a 10-round fight as hard as these two guys have been fighting.
Oh, Rios lands a big right hand that backs Soto up into the ropes, and momentarily Soto appeared to be stunned. Chopping right hand over the top by Rios. Last-ditch rally by the Argentine.
Let me tell you something. This kid has a heart.
But Soto appears unhurt now as he stares down at us and waits for the action to resume.
A heart as big as the Pampas.
Yeah,
what a tremendous rally.
And he wants to win.
Closing seconds of the bout, just like the opening seconds, they trade leather in a phone booth on a hot night in Tijuana. Just a little touch of evil to get the evening started.
Definitely a boxing after dark fight.
Let's take a look at some of the big action from round 10 as Rios backs Soto up.
It seemed to momentarily stun Soto and send him off balance. I didn't think he was in serious trouble, but he was in some trouble.
Harold, how'd you have it?
Jim, you had to give Carlos Rios that 10th round for doing his Arturo daddy. But in any case, 96, 93, 6 rounds to 4 for the hometown guy, Cesar Soto. I certainly think he learned that the clean, hard, effective shots, certainly enough of them to win this fight. You got to give him that 10-8 in round 4, so that throws him an extra point. But Jim, watch for the high numbers with a close score, because that's how they score him in Mexico. A lot of even rounds.
Home country guy, Harold, not hometown guy. Remember, he's from Juarez, not from here in Tijuana. In the next fight, there's a hometown guy. All right, let's go to Danny Valdivia in the ring for the official numbers on this one.
I will read the scorecards, revisando la puntuación de los jueces. Judge Enrique Sotelo and Raymond Solis scored about 90. Correction, Alejandro Rochin and Raimundo Solis scored about 96, 93, both of them. Judge Enrique Sotelo scored about 98, 92, all in favor of the winner by unanimous decision, Cesar Soto. El vencedor por decisión unánime, Cesar La Cobra Soto.
So the victory for Soto puts him in line for a possible second chance against Luisito Espinosa of the Philippines, and that fight may not take place if it happens in Manila, where Soto last fought against Espinosa before 300,000 fans rooting for the Philippine fighter, because the economic crisis in the Philippines, we're told that Espinosa is likely to be fighting in the United States sometime soon. Maybe Cesar Soto will be coming north of the border to meet him there.
Right now, we've got an opportunity to talk live with the two combatants you'll be seeing via pay-per-view next Friday night in Las Vegas. Oscar De La Hoya